Well, it's the 19th of May. A very good evening and welcome. You're tuned on to the weekend edition, the Saturday's edition of Prime Time News. And I'm Joel Outskun. Let's start off today with a look at the headlines.
President Maithripala Sirisena stresses there will be no room for Elam dreams. Prince Harry marries Meghan Clark at Windsor Castle. 16 SLFP defectors to meet former president on Monday. Linear accelerators worth more than ₹1 billion still in original packing. General public criticized the country's transport service.
First up on the news, the National War Heroes Commemoration ceremony took place this evening at the War Heroes Memorial opposite the Parliamentary Complex. The event was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The National War Heroes Commemoration ceremony commenced following the arrival of the President.
Maithripala Sirisena matumange sampraptiya.
Religious observances took place at the ceremony after the fallen war heroes were remembered.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
රටෙන් පිට විදේශයන්හි සිටින LTT ශාලේ LTT සංවිධානවල පුජ්‍යලයින් අදත්
Today, the members of the LTTE organization and network, while living overseas, continue to voice their slogans to divide our motherland. They still want to make their dream of an Elam state a reality. I must state this clearly. As a citizen of this country representing this government, we will never allow those dreams to become a reality. A war hero should never be a political tool. With regard to the resolutions made against us at the UN Human Rights Commission, despite the wrong picture portrayed by certain media and extremist elements, I must state clearly there are no war crimes mentioned against our war heroes in those resolutions. People who are connected to the LTTE and possess extremist ideologies, who are against the government and the security forces and living overseas, are the only ones who speak of war crimes.
මොහොතෙන් එගොඩ සිටින රජයට විරුද්ධ ආරක්ෂක හමුදාවට විරුද්ධ අන්තවාදී අදහස් දරන LTTට සම්බන්ධයි.
Thereafter, the President, MPs, Ministers and the family members of fallen war heroes placed floral tributes at the War Heroes Memorial.
Well, back shifting to your attention in news here at home. At a time when authorities boast about a progressive health service in the country, reports are surfacing about medical equipment worth millions going to waste.
A linear accelerator is the device most commonly used for external beam radiation treatment for patients with cancer. A device costs more than 350 million rupees. When one visits the Apeksha hospital in Maharagama, one can understand why such a device is of paramount importance to Sri Lanka. 2 linear accelerators have been placed at the Apeksha hospital in Maharagama and around 160 patients are treated using these devices daily. Yet, a patient must be patient on the Apeksha hospital's waiting list for 4 months to use the device for treatment. If one is to be treated from such a device from the private sector, one has to spend over 500,000 rupees for a single treatment. 3 important linear accelerators were imported to the country around 2 years ago. 2 devices were given to the cancer units of the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital and the Batiklo Teaching Hospital. However, these devices are in their original packing even today as they have not been put into operation.
linear accelerator machine එක ගෙනල්ලා
A linear accelerator was brought here and the required infrastructure is being developed. We hope to put the device into operation in the coming 2 months.
බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඉදිරි මාස 2-3ක් ඇතුළත කෙසේ හෝ මේ ඒකකය ආරම්භ කරලා කටයුතු පටන් ගන්න.
A building was constructed at the Telipalai Cancer Hospital to facilitate a linear accelerator. However, a spokesperson from the hospital said they are yet to receive a linear accelerator. If this is so, where is the linear accelerator that was to be given to the Telipalai Cancer Hospital? The linear accelerators, which could possibly save the lives of cancer patients, were imported to the country 2 years ago and are still not being used. Does this not expose the inefficiency of the local health authorities? For your attention.
Well, recently the SLFP Central Committee decided to appoint interim office bearers. Today, Minister Mahinda Amarveera elaborated on this decision.
Majority of the office bearers in the SLFP are not from the SLFP. A majority of them are seated in the opposition. Therefore, interim office bearers will be appointed in the coming days, and thereafter the restructuring of the party will take place. Then we hope to appoint the new office bearers. I am not aware. It will be decided by the party. I cannot comment on the individual. Yes, we have no desire to see a split in the SLFP. We hope to bring all together. We also hope to welcome those in the opposition who are willing to join with the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. There is no such decision. That is a false report. We can see that in another 7 days. If that is true, a decision needs to be announced by next Thursday. It appears to me the future in politics of certain individuals will end with other political parties. I invite those individuals to join with this party and proceed. That is our strength.
Well, the SLFP MPs who left the government commented on the decisions taken by the Central Committee of the SLFP.
We hope to establish a new Balamandala on the 20th of August and attend the General Assembly of the party on the 2nd of September. The President had also announced a day to decide on leaving the government. We had said continuing with the government will be disastrous for the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The 23 MPs in government must decide carefully. We are of the view we need to withdraw as a party. It is not an issue for us if some want to remain, but there is no point in the SLFP remaining with this government any further. On Monday, the group of 16 will meet former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. We will also meet with other political party leaders like Sambandhan. We will prepare a policy-based program.
Well, up next is the People's Mic, a platform where we have created for the general public to voice their concerns.
The People's Mic.
Education is a serious issue in Sri Lanka. There are no programs in place for students who fail their O-levels or A-levels.
Everyone is finding it difficult to survive. That is all I can say.
We are poor people. How are we to survive after the price of fuel was increased? I am a father of 2. The rulers always burden the poor people. I purchased 4 vegetables for 430 rupees. How do we eat now? I'm happy we met at this particular place. I need to speak about transportation. There are laws in place to nab those who are taking cattle to the slaughterhouse. It is disappointing to say the people who travel on the Kalani Valley train are treated in a very worse way. There needs to be equality everywhere. The people must rise for that. We need to have a parliament where the people are represented by the intellectuals and wise individuals. We must give them the opportunity.
The People's Mic.
Well, former Maldivian President Mohamed Nasheed commented on how foreign nations obtain unsolicited contracts. He made these comments speaking exclusively to Newsfirst. Ramesh Irugal Bandara.
Sri Lanka has been identified as one of the vulnerable countries to this debt book diplomacy practice. Do you think Maldives is also on that list?
We've been seeing this through our own eyes during the last few years, during the last 5 to 6 years. Now, what is done here is, first, China attempted to change state type, basically from democracy to autocracy.
Okay.
So you back an autocratic ruler, the idea is to remove democratic oversight. Once you remove democratic oversight, they get unsolicited contracts. And the second stage, the prescription is similar in everywhere. Now, then they increase the price of the contract. Now, for instance, if you can do a road, a bridge for, or a harbor for $100 million, you increase the price for $300 million. Because it's done by their companies. It's financed through Exim Bank and done through by Chinese companies. So once the price is increased, then the government of the Maldives gives a sovereign guarantee to that increased price. But the asset value of what is done through the loan is $100 million.
Okay.
So, but the government obligation is $300 million. So we can, of course, obviously not pay back a $300 million debt with an asset value of $100 million. So the idea of increasing the price, or the level to which the price is increased, is to the level where the business plan fails. So then we are trapped in debt. You will not be able to pay that. So China is increasingly using debt as a disciplining agent. So they are using debt as a leverage on political issues. Now, then when we can't pay the debt, they ask for equity. And with equity, we relinquish land and, of course, sovereignty. I have nothing whatsoever against China. And in my view, these are not foreign direct investments. These are a devious plan, actually, to trap us in debt. China has, without firing a single shot, grabbed more land than the East India Company had done at the height of the colonial era. We would like the Chinese government, the Communist Party, to understand, look, they are very welcome to come to the Maldives. There's no doubt about that. And we welcome foreign investment. I come from a center-right political view. So we encourage foreign investments. But we do not want it to be weaponized. And so this, for us, is a human rights issue. It's not just a mercantile or a contract or a commercial issue. It's a human rights issue, and it should be decided, deliberated, based on that.
Moving on to more news. Now, the Sri Lanka-Singapore Free Trade Agreement has raised serious concern among many industries.
Criticism against the Sri Lanka-Singapore FTA has not died down as more controversial details about this agreement are being exposed. At present, the fate of the farmers following the implementation of this FTA is being widely discussed.
The Sri Lanka-Singapore Free Trade Agreement provides tax concessions for paddy. This will completely dismantle our paddy farming industry. The situation will be such, we will have to depend on other countries. When the Kala River overflows, only 50% of the water is provided. We do not know whether this is also part of this plan. Doesn't Malik Samaravikrama understand this? Does he not eat rice? People like Malik Samaravikrama, who wear a suit and tie and stay inside air-conditioned rooms, do not understand the sufferings of the farmers. They speak of rose gardens. This is a plan where the paddy lands will be filled and we will have to depend on other countries. Ranil Wickramasinghe promoted filling paddy lands. Their people do not hear the voice of the people.
The Minister of Agriculture, however, had this to say.
As far as I am aware, this will not have an impact on the agriculture sector. Singapore's agriculture products will not be produced. It will not be an issue for us. We are aware of this. We have focused on areas that will benefit us. This will not affect the local farmer. We have discussed this extensively. This will not even affect the local fishermen. I do not think there is any product that can be brought from Singapore and be sold over here. The agreement was tabled in Cabinet on the 17th of January. The agreement is more than 1,000 pages. So, did any MP or Cabinet Minister get any time to read through the entire agreement? They signed it on the 23rd of January. Did any of the Cabinet Ministers approve this after understanding it well? Was there approval or not? This has not been revealed as yet. How many MPs read the letter that we sent to them? Some MPs were only aware of the agreement yesterday. There needs to be a program in Parliament to analyse these matters.
Will the Sri Lanka-Singapore Free Trade Agreement have an impact on the food production national program, which is implemented under the guidance of the President?
ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ආහාර ප්‍රවර්ධන වැඩපිළිවෙලට සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම විරුද්ධවයි මේ ගිවිසුම අත්සන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ජනාධිපතිතුමා අවුරුදු
This agreement completely violates the President's program for food production. The President has implemented a program to put a stop to importing food items in the coming 3 years. There are articles in this agreement for tax-free paddy importation in 12 years. There are articles in this agreement for tax-free importation of fruits in 6 years. We do not know if the President is aware of this situation. This agreement completely violates the President's program for food production.
ආහාර ප්‍රවර්ධන වැඩපිළිවෙලට සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම විරුද්ධව අත්සන් කරපු ගිවිසුම.
A report on the social and environmental issues surrounding the Lakvijaya coal power plant has highlighted a series of health concerns. Well, now on previous occasions, Newsfirst highlighted the issues surrounding the plant location and operations, and the concerns raised in this report are far more serious.
The report has highlighted the long-term health impacts that occur based on the type of pollution that is identified. It notes sulfur dioxide, heavy metals, benzene and radionuclides released from the power plant reduces life expectancy of those living in close proximity. In addition, sulfur dioxide results in respiratory system disease, which includes bronchitis, black lung and lung cancer. The report highlights carbon monoxide inhalation can cause cardiovascular disease, including congestive heart failure. Moreover, toxic heavy metals that are released following combustion can result in fatal, non-fatal cancer, osteoporosis, reproductive organ and system failure, infant mortality and low birth rate, learning-related disabilities including Parkinson-like syndrome and paralysis. In addition, water pollution and mercury could cause brain and neurological damage and diseases, skin diseases and loss of IQ. Today, activists visited the area to engage in a study of the impact caused by the Norotchole plant. The coal scam is the second largest scam to take place following the election of the government. It is second to the Treasury bond scam. Suren Batagoda and the Cabinet Tender Committee must be held accountable for this.
ඒ කැබිනට් ටෙන්ඩර් මණ්ඩලය සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම වග කියන්න ඕනේ. දීර්ඝකාලීනව බලශක්ති
These people have placed their faith on coal as the long-term power generation tool. This is because it paved the way for continuous robbery. This country must move towards renewable energy.
තාමත්ම පැහැදිලිව පේන්න තියෙනවා මේ රටේ පුනර්ජනනීය බලශක්තිය වෙත අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම යොමු වේතුව තිබෙනවා.
A police officer died after being shot in the Vakolagada area in Horopatana.
The victim was identified as Police Constable Susanta Jayaratna, attached to the Vagollakada police post, who was on duty last night. Police said an accidental discharge from the firearm of the Civil Defence Force officer on duty had resulted in the death. Police went on to note the constable was rushed to the Horopatana hospital but was dead upon admission. Our correspondent said the police constable was shot in a jungle area roughly 700 meters away from the police post. The victim was a 32-year-old resident from the Ihaladiul area in Horopatana and married only 7 months ago. The Civil Defence Force officer was arrested and further investigations are underway.
The 68th village constructed under the Udagambana Concept Village program was vested with the public today. This village is located in the South Bharati Kotam in Vavuniya.
The village, comprising of 23 houses, was vested with the public by Deputy Leader of the UNP, Minister Sajid Premadasa. The village is equipped with electricity, clean drinking water and access roads and was constructed at a cost of 18.3 million rupees. In politics, everyone attempts to become popular. The people who become popular by serving the people are the talented ones. There are lethargic politicians as well. The people who want to be popular by doing nothing are those who incite racism. Be it in the north or the south, we must be prepared to put a stop to racism and extremist politics.
A suspect remanded for heroin peddling has reportedly escaped from the prison hospital.
Prison spokesperson Tushara Upuldenia said the suspects had fled between 2:30 and 3:30 in the evening on the 15th of May. The missing prisoner is a 35-year-old resident from Borella. He was taken out of prison on the 14th to appear for a case taken up at the High Court and was returned to the prison thereafter. The prison spokesperson said thereafter he was admitted to the prison hospital for an inspection, as it was reported the suspect had returned with a stock of heroin concealed in his rectum. Thereafter he had made his escape from the prison hospital.
And in sports this evening, it's some cricket news for you here at home. Sri Lanka cricket elections have been fixed for the 31st of May, and the elections committee was appointed today at Sri Lanka Cricket Special Annual General Meeting.
Minister has given us a directive to hold the AGM on the 31st of May, and also to have a EGM on today and appoint the election committee. So as we have planned before, we have adopted the changes, due changes to our constitution. Mr. Rasika Veeratunga, Mr. Sanat Utpola, Mr. Buddhika Ilanga Tilaka, Mr. H.T. Jude Perra, and Mr. Devagiri Bandar. These are 5 people unanimously agreed by the executive committee at the annual general meeting to be served in the capacity as our election committee. This was unanimously approved by the general body.
Well, with that, it's time for us to wrap the weekend edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. Well, if you missed out on any stories, simply log on to our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk.